All right, I think we're live. Cheers, everybody. It's water, I promise. I wanted to do this live because this is something that I've had on my bucket list for a long time, and I just haven't really ever gotten around to or done a good job about just committing to an actual schedule. And so this year, one of my goals is to go live. I'm going to try to go live every single week and just do this as kind of like a hangout thing where kind of reflect on the week. We can share stories from the week and just like have fun. And, there's probably going to be some tangents and you guys can ask some questions if you have questions. But if you're just joining on the live stream or if you're watching the replay, drop a like on the video because I'm pretty sure it helps the algorithm. I don't know to be that if that's a myth or not these days, but drop a like on the video and let me know that you're here by just leaving a comment in the chat. Give everybody a second to pop in. And yeah, this is going to be like kind of a loose type agenda and everything. I don't want to make this like it kind of just we'll go wherever direction you guys want to take it. This week has been a pretty good week for me. Honestly, I didn't really know that I was going to get it as ahead as I have. Time management's been it's kind of a pain for I'm sure everybody, but there was a lot of things that have been going on this week. But I was able to walk away this weekend by filming 4 videos, and I don't know if you saw it in the community tab or not, but I was able to get 4 videos filmed. And so feeling super pumped about that just because it just makes everything so much easier. If you're like, I used to do like video to video every single week. And it's just like, as soon as you get done publishing that video, it's like time to start planning the next video. But I've just been so much more efficient with my time and more effective with doing things by just coming up with 4 ideas at least a month. At the beginning of the month, I'll come up with 4 ideas, come up with a title and thumbnail for both of those videos, and then I'll plan a time to go and film them. And then that just frees me up for all kinds of other time because I don't necessarily have to edit the videos right away, but I can edit those videos. I could probably get 4 videos done in 1 to 2 weeks. So that's been super helpful for me. I know a lot of you, whenever I posted a poll recently on the channel, were saying that time management was the thing that you were struggling with the most. So one thing that I definitely recommend is if you're filming videos is to batch as much content as you can. Now, if you're not creating YouTube videos, you can still batch in other areas. It's been beneficial for me. So like buying groceries in bulk or cooking your food in bulk is really helpful. Like for me, I meal prep for the week. So I just got done last night. I just threw like, I'm pretty sure it was 6 chicken breasts that I cut in half, and I'm able to have like almost 12 meals out of. So if you're not the kind of person that gets bored with the things that you eat, then it might be something that would be beneficial. But batching has been incredibly helpful for me as far as like managing my time and everything like that. But yeah, that's just kind of been a big thing for me this year is clearing up my headspace to be able to kind of just get to where my head's not just barely above water. Because if you're anything like me, I'm a dad and, we have the day-to-day. I have a 9-to-5 job that I go to, and there's very little time for you to focus on your creative things, whether that's, playing an instrument, that's if you're into writing or filmmaking or photography. There's a small little window for you to have that opportunity. And I think it's important to, use that time that you have because that time is special, right? And just use it in a way that it makes you feel good. Too many times I've come home from work and I've been like, I know I need to record a video or I need to practice working on this thing or I need to edit a video. And I just don't have the energy to do that specific thing. It's just because depending on what happened during the workday, if I had a lot of stuff going on, and it just, how was I able to kind of get out of that? Well, I've been really trying to think about when I plan on doing different things, right? So earlier last year, I believe it was, I was taking an interest in wanting to learn piano. And I'm like, because I've been playing guitar for like, I think it's been over 20 years now. And I'm still learning guitar. I'm not a pro by any means, but I was wanting to learn how to play the piano. And then I realized that, all these different things that you decide to do with your time, they require a level of energy. And that's obvious, I know. But you only have a finite amount of energy in the day. And so how are you going to manage, what are you going to put that energy towards? Maybe you could, instead of in the evening time, that it might be more beneficial for you, instead of in the evening time, to come home, and if you're not going to film a video, find something else that's a hobby of yours that isn't as strenuous. Like, so maybe trying to play the piano is not, but, or maybe just like going out and working out, maybe that's a hobby of yours. So trying to find ways of finding those pockets of time in your schedule has been really helpful for me, as far as like being able to have some fulfillment in my creative work. Because honestly, it's a dread regardless. Like, it's a dread whenever you're coming home after a long day of work and you have like a bunch of videos that you need to edit. It's like, sometimes the last thing I want to do is edit a video, but I know that I need to. Let me see. We got some folks in the chat. So is that Cav? Did I say that correctly? Cav, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Korea, that's a long ways away. What time is it in Korea right now? Yeah, I'll look it up here in just a second. If you're not able to drop it in the chat, but yeah, what I was getting at is like, it's a dread whenever you have to come home and focus on editing a video and stuff like that, but you still want to do that thing. So I've tried to 9:36 a.m. Wow, so it's like first thing in the morning. Good morning. I try to find those pockets of time where I can, and I think it boils down to like the little things. Like, it sounds so cliche, but I think there's a reason why certain phrases have stood the test of time. Is because, like, going to bed on time, it's important. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't want to hear it, but we all know that it's something that's important. And I think going to bed on time is like the foundational habit for you to be able to have more good habits, right? So if you're going to bed on time, you're going to have more energy during the day to do the other habits or apply the other things that you need to apply yourself to the habits that you're trying to build on. So going to bed is like the first thing. Drinking water, a big thing that I wasn't doing last year that was sucking up a lot of my energy and really making me not in that creative mood and just poorly managing my time, was that I wasn't hydrating properly. Like, I thought I knew how to hydrate, but I definitely need to drink more than 2 of these a day. I probably need to drink like 3 or 4. And so I was, that was sucking away from my energy, and just, so yeah, going to sleep on time, drinking water, exercising, that's extremely important. But it's all those cliche things that we've heard a million times, but those are the things that I've been trying to focus on this year so that I feel better and I can just enjoy myself. And I say enjoy myself, and like, whenever I'm out and I'm creating and doing things, I don't want to just sit there and be, dreading every single time it comes to creating, because that's what leads to burnout in the long run. Is if you don't take care of those little things, it leads to you just resenting having to do that specific thing that you wanted to learn how to do, or that you once liked doing. So a story from this week. Well, earlier this week, I was talking to some buddies of mine, and one of the big things that it's a downside too. I'm big into like learning new things. I'm always trying to learn the next thing and trying to better understand the world and everything like that. And one of the things that's the downside of that is as I've been growing this YouTube channel, I've become more knowledgeable on like how to create better titles, how to make better thumbnails, and how to come up with good ideas. And that's like a blessing and a curse when it comes to being someone like myself, who's like a creative person. And sometimes I think that you just need to create something regardless of whether or not you don't get so wrapped up around the title, the thumbnail, the idea. And that sounds, contradicting to any advice that you'll ever hear, because most people will tell you that it's a waste of your time, and because you're not going to get views. And it really just depends on what your goal is. Because if your goal is to get more views, then yes, it might be a waste of your time. But if your goal is to have some sort of creative fulfillment, then I think it's better to just make the video. Or if your goal is to be more consistent with creating content, you're giving yourself a reason not to be consistent. That is the point of my story of what I'm saying is that I was talking about possibly doing this live, and my buddy's like, just do it, just go live. And my first instinct is like, well, what am I going to talk about? And how am I going to come up with a good thumbnail? He's like, don't worry about all that. you'll figure it out, and just focus on starting and just getting started and moving. And that way you can, improve on it as you go. And so for me, as I've learned these new skills and things like that come with YouTube, a lot of times I will talk myself out of doing certain things. So as a creative, I think that's a blessing and a curse, but I think it's better when you find yourself in those positions where you're in like that creative rut. It's more beneficial to just do the thing and then learn from it and get better as you go. At least it was for me anyways. But that's just like, it's really affected how I come up with new ideas. And like, yeah, because if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're not constantly stressing about what the next video is going to be, and eventually you're going to start coming up with good ideas. Now, I don't think good ideas, like, I don't know about you, but for me, anytime that I've had a good idea, it typically comes to me through a state of boredom, where like there's a time where I'm like consuming information and stuff, but I have to take time to actually do nothing. So like if I'm in the shower, or if I'm like taking a walk, or on my drive to work, sometimes, a lot of times, even when I'm driving to work, I had to force myself almost to do nothing, because I given myself that opportunity to just kind of sit there in my thoughts. And that has brought on a lot more of creative ideas for me. And the reason what I'm getting at is that if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're not in that anxiety state, which I've been in too many times, where it's just like, you got to create, got to make something, and you want it to be good, and you end up dreading the thing. And so it's a balance between both, because there's extremes on both sides, especially if you're, let's say, for example, you're trying to grow on YouTube. I think that you can make what you want to make, but there is a certain point to where you have to market the videos and come up with some packaging that is clickable, title and thumbnail. It's something there that is going to make people interested in if that's what you desire to do. But again, tell me, let me know in the chat, what are some of the struggles that you've been having lately as far as like your creative process and everything. I know time management was a big thing that was talked about, but feel free to share down in the chat, or if you're on the replay, let me know down in the comments, so that way I could see kind of what everybody else is. It feels good whenever you can relate to somebody, because man, I tell you this, sometimes, because I'm like the only person that I know, well, outside of online, that does YouTube, it feels good whenever you can talk to other artists and stuff like that, and kind of just see what their struggles are. Let's see, Cap said, your journey's been pretty insane, from editing Call of Duty videos for your friends to now your skills have come such a long way, and I'm always here for it. This is oh my goodness. I had no clue. I recognized the name, but yeah, man, it's been a long time. Wow. So Cav is actually a buddy of mine that we haven't really talked to each other, and it's been years, but we've kind of stayed in contact through like social media and stuff like that, but haven't really talked to each other in a long time. But that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're doing well, and I guess you're stationed out in Korea now, so that's awesome, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much time. We probably won't go too long today, but again, I got some videos that are going to be coming out this week, and be on the lookout for a new video on Monday. And then again, I'm going to try to do these on Fridays. Let me know if Fridays is you can let me know down in the comments too, if you're watching on the replay. Let me know if Fridays is a good day for you, the timeline, because I'm trying to figure out what's going to be a good time, because it doesn't have to be 7:30 on Fridays. It can be something different, but just let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.